And remember to mute yourself unless you are speaking. Just about live. Okay, so now we are live on YouTube. Thank you everybody for joining us for another Tuesday talk with the church communicators amongst church communicators. For today's session, we are focusing on the clergy emails that we are intending to launch in May for all clergy, active and retired, and lay persons or lay pastors assigned to an appointment in the Desert Southwest Conference. These email addresses are also for Desert Southwest Conference clergy that are appointed in a different conference, and for clergy that are from a different conference but appointed in the Desert Southwest Conference. So essentially, if you are a Desert Southwest Conference appointment holder or retired clergy person living in the Desert South, well, not just living, but a member of the Desert Southwest Conference, then you would have one of these email addresses provided for you. Sorry, I didn't turn off my Outlook. Next, I would like to introduce to you all Jason Winchester, who is the Director of IP for GCFA, that's the General Council on Finance and Administration for the United Methodist Church, and also our help desk, our IT support. And I've invited Jason to be with us today to talk about, to kind of give an overview and demonstrate what it is that you're going to be getting. And so with that, I will pass it over to you, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's a pleasure to meet all you guys and gals. I just wanted to spend this time just kind of showing over many of you may be actually familiar with Office 365. It's fairly common, but I just wanted to be able to show you how to log into the system, some of the benefits, because it's more than just email with this system. It's a fully featured productivity suite that has become that has been made available to you. So you will be able to get some significant benefit out of this. So first, we want to talk about how to get logged into the system. There's two ways to get logged into the system. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick so that you guys can see. And this is going to be very I can't think of the word, but it's just going to be really easygoing. Just let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to interrupt me. I'm not going to, make this very structured. So go ahead and share this. All right. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to portal.office.com. This is probably the best way to access all of the capabilities of this system. I'm going to log in with my generic account here. Now you guys will just have a username and password. We at GCFA, we have multi-factor authentication set up, so there will be an extra step here. You will not see that step. Bear with me while I struggle with my password. Okay, so once you get logged into the system, it will bring you to your portal. The portal is kind of like a main page for your Office 365 environment, okay? You guys will have not just access to email, but to the Word application, the Excel application, all through the web portal. So you'll be able to access it online, as well as some other features. So let's take a look quickly how to get into the Outlook. You'll just go to this page and you can either click on Outlook on the left-hand side here, or if you're in an application, you can always click on these dots at the top left-hand corner, and that will show you also a list of the applications that you have available. Now it will show you the top applications that you use. You can click down here to all apps and it will take you to a larger page that will show you plenty of other things that you want to check out. This has more options than what you guys will have available to you. I have a different license, but you will have several options more than just email. So if you click on Outlook, it'll take you to outlook.office.com. That's the other way you can get there. You can just go straight to outlook.office.com. And when you're in outlookoffice.com, you can take a look at your different folders and navigate through email just like you would expect to in any other email system that you may have worked with in the past. Your settings and everything are located over here on the right-hand side. You can change the way it looks. You can set your out of office if you need to, and communicate that way. But some of the other features that come with Outlook or with Office 365, like I said, are your Word application. You'll have access to that, be able to write and save documents in almost exactly the same way that you use Word on the desktop. And the best thing about Office 365 is it comes with also this OneDrive. OneDrive is a shared backup location, shared cloud drive, where if you write things in Word or Excel, you can save those things into this cloud drive. The conference is providing you with a OneDrive folder that has, I believe, 1 terabyte of data available to you. So that's very handy, and it will allow you to access your documents anywhere and everywhere, from any computer, from your home computer, from your work computer. It's all available. And also, I believe this license comes with Teams, so you can set up Teams meetings and be able to do video conferencing as well. So does anybody have any questions about the features and functionality?
Go ahead.
Two questions. If I'm already using Outlook, is this going to be an additional Outlook application that I'll have files in both Outlooks, or will it integrate seamlessly with what I've already got?
So you can have it integrate seamlessly. You can connect to a physical Outlook client if you have it. All you'll need to do is to open up your Outlook client, and you'll click on. Well, I can show you here. Let me show you. Let me share that screen.
And the other thing, while you're bringing that up, you said that we get 1 terabyte of memory to save our documents in. And is that 1 terabyte for every pastor or whoever has this account in the annual conference, or is this 1 terabyte for the whole annual conference?
This is for the, let me just verify that yes, that is for each individual user.
Wow.
Yeah, so you get a tremendous amount of storage available there. I am noticing, let me check on the capabilities of the Teams environment. Microsoft Teams. Yeah, the Teams capabilities are there as well. All right, so so let's take a look at how to add that. If you have your Outlook application, you will most likely be here. You can click on File and then go to your account settings, and you can add an account. Actually, there's a button right here, so you can add an account, and it will go through all of the well, I guess you can't see that pop up, but it'll go through the steps for you to add that account to your email. Very, very simple, and then it can show up on your Outlook as it stands. If you have Outlook or you have another email program, you can connect to the Office 365 environment there. You don't have to access it online, but it's absolutely, it's possible.
Jason,
Go ahead, Rob.
sorry. Jason, I just had to reload my whole computer, and this Microsoft 365 came up, and all of my documents are now in 365. So I can't open Word just directly to Word. I have to go through Microsoft. But when I go to download, I can't get any of the documents to download.
Okay, so you're saying the files are in your OneDrive folder now?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything I opened up now shows that instead of Word, it shows the Microsoft logo.
Okay. That's an interesting. I'd love to see that. It might help me to determine what that is. If it's in the OneDrive cloud, then it should be available for download either on the local client or on the web. Perhaps you're logged in with a different account. It is, if you do currently use Office 365, but you log in through the web client now with your existing credentials, then you may have to have a different method for logging into this particular one. So if you haven't logged into your existing Office 365 environment, that could be causing that problem.
Okay.
I do want to clarify that Rob does not have one of the new accounts. We haven't created any new accounts for anyone. In case anybody else was listening and thinking, oh no, that was going to happen with these new accounts. And how come Rob has one already and I don't?
Right. No, I just do all my sermons on the one here at the office at home, and I just can't bring them up once I type them. They go to the cloud, and I'm not able to retrieve them back. So it's probably because I don't have the account.
Yes, you would.
I don't know.
You would want to be logged into the account on all the computers that you want to access, or even your phone. We have, I use my iPad, and Office 365 applications are available on there. So I can work on my documents on my iPad, and the changes that I make there are available on my computer, available anywhere I go. It's very, very handy. And you said you just had your computer had to be rebuilt.
Yes.
That's a big benefit of this process. In fact, with Office 365, there's an application there's a setting in OneDrive that will automatically back up your desktop, your documents, and your pictures folder to OneDrive as you just operate on it. So you may not have to change your method of operation at all. And then now you've got a backup on of your computer or your most important files on your computer in the cloud.
And Megan has her hand up.
Hey, our church here is in the process of transferring over to SharePoint and the cloud server and all that jazz for our personal church. And our new appointment pastor said doesn't want an email through us because he's getting the email through the conference, which is totally fine. Is it going to be possible to connect his conference login to our SharePoint?
You can configure SharePoint to allow guest access. It does not come by default that way, but it is something that can be done.
Okay, cool. And if our IT people, for whatever reason, have any questions for somebody at the conference, who would we contact in order to get that going?
And I think Christina is going to discuss that. I believe GCFA, we do have a support desk that we have available. Then I think is going to be made available to you guys. I will go ahead and tell you the SharePoint is going to require more involvement with a senior level engineer. We absolutely can help you with that, but it may take more time than a 30-minute conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have we have a managed IT system. I don't take care of that. I don't get paid enough for that. Okay. But I just thought I'd make sure whoever they need to get in contact with to kind of make this work, to make it easy for our new appointed pastor. So thank you. I appreciate it.
So I'm going to share a little bit as I share some stuff about how these new accounts will work and what's required, what's not required, support privacy issues, things like that. Please, you can either type your question in the chat so that I remember to call on you, or just raise your hand and we'll go from there. But I'm going to go through the stuff first and then we'll do questions right after. Hopefully I remember everything. So I wanted to clarify that the way this all started was really just for it to be an email address, an official email address that we could assign to each one of our pastors. I'll say it that way so that it includes active clergy, retired clergy, lay pastors assigned. So all of our pastors would have an official email address, and that is what we would use for annual conference registration and as official voting credentials for annual conference. That was really it. That was the starter. But there was also, the obvious point, like what Jason shared, that in creating this email account, it opens up all these other tools for you. And it's at no extra cost to the conference or to you clergy. There is some cost now because we're realizing we need to offer some support, whether it's for onboarding. Not everybody's used to using email, period. Not everybody is used to using Outlook or a web portal. There's questions about, well, can I still read my emails on my phone? Is this going to have to be different? All of that. So since we don't have a full staff anymore in communications, that's where GCFA's support is going to help. So that is going to be a cost to the conference, an hourly expense. And we can't afford to have it just available forever and ever. So what we're doing is offering GCFA to you guys to be billed to the conference for the month of May. May is when we'll launch these accounts, and that's when you will be expected to sign on for the first time to read and sign the use policy agreement and send that back to us. All of this in May so that you can start using these email accounts. Now, so that first tier was just registration and voting credentials. The next tier would be using the email account to receive official conference, district, Episcopal email news from us. It would go to that official account no sooner than July 1st. We'd probably start that sometime in July, and that's what's stated in the draft policies that we're working on. What that means is that's what we're going to use as our official outlet to you. Because, you guys know, as you change your appointments, as companies change, as preferences change, your contact information changes a lot. And, with over 350 clergy, we still have yet to have a year where we have successfully updated everybody's contact information. And so we don't always reach everyone. So this is an attempt at being able to stay in conversation with people, stay connected with all of our clergy. It does not replace anything that you currently use for your personal or church email communications, file sharing, or whatever. This is strictly for Desert Southwest Conference, district work, and messages from the bishop. That doesn't mean it would be like, let's say Bob Holliday sends the bishop an email, or his district superintendent, or me as conference staff, and he uses his personal email address. Totally okay. I will respond to that email address. That's still totally okay. This new account is not meant to replace what you currently do. And even if Bob is already subscribed to conference news through MailChimp, he'll still get that MailChimp email from us in his personal email address, but he'll also get it in the official email address. One of the issues that we have experienced is frustration from clergy that, why can't the conference just update all of my subscriptions? I'm now at this place, that email address is no good. Well, we can't, because that's not the way MailChimp works. It has to be, done through you guys. And in some cases, we can go in and change an email address in there for a subscriber, but it usually still has to be confirmed by the email account holder. So this will allow us to do a little bit of that. We still aren't going to be going into your email account to confirm a MailChimp subscription, but at least we know that we've got the right email address in the MailChimp account and that you just need to go in and confirm it. And we'll be able to be speaking the same language. In many cases, clergy have 5 or 7 email addresses, and we're talking about go to your email account and look for this, and they're going to their email account, but it's a different one than what we're talking about. So this should clear up some of those misunderstandings. But again, it's not meant for personal use. In fact, we're discouraging you from using it for personal stuff. That would be considered against the official policies. And this is a little bit of a change from when I first started having conversations with clergy or clergy groups. Initially, I and the conference wanted to ensure privacy for all individuals that are using these new accounts. But in consultation with Mary Lee, what I'm learning is that we shouldn't provide some type of guarantee on privacy, because that kind of puts the conference liable in case of any improper use of the email accounts. And because we're not having you guys use it as a personal account, you can still email people however you did before. And it's just meant for registration, voting credentials, and receiving official news. That's it. If you have questions about the news or anything, you can use your other email accounts. You don't have to use this one for that. So for those reasons, we have, and there's more that's outlined in the policies that I'm working on. But for those reasons, I want to emphasize that we're not guaranteeing privacy. Instead, we're asking you to agree to a no privacy policy. So we'll need to follow legal requirements. We will need to randomly monitor the accounts, and we'll need you guys to commit to reporting any instances that you're aware of where inappropriate use of these email accounts is happening. And then we would have to investigate it. And we also need to have some type of action included in the policy that if inappropriate use is found to be true, that this is the consequence that will happen, or possible consequences. So there's a lot more. I had no idea that just offering an email address for clergy use was going to be so complicated. And part of that is because you're not really employees of the Desert Southwest Conference. It's a provider user agreement. You know, it's different for when a church creates an email account for you. That's apparently very different than if the conference offers it for you. So, you know, it's a bummer, but at the same time, it doesn't really need to be. If you're not using this account for any personal emails, it's no big deal. So that also means this terabyte of storage space that you'll have, you should not be using it to store your personal family photos or your church files. We're hoping that you'll use the Teams and SharePoint or OneDrive to be able to collaborate with other churches or with the conference or districts or whatever, to make it easier for file sharing for that work. But it's not meant to be used for your church work. So the way that would make sense is because, you know, you guys get moved all over. If you're working on church work at ABC Church in any town USA, and you've been storing your files in your SharePoint, ShareDrive, whatever, you move to another location. Well, now you took those files with you that the new pastor would need to continue that work. So whatever you normally do now for your local church work, use that. Anything you do for your conference or district work, you can use SharePoint or OneDrive or Teams that from the account that we're offering, because you could still be involved in that work. If you're involved in immigration, you could do that from Phoenix or Tucson or Las Vegas, wherever. So I hope that makes sense. Bob, you've got a question? Bob Holiday?
Well, this sounds some of us that have worked for governmental entities You know, when we've been on department computers and so forth, we've had to sign a computer use agreement, basically that says this computer and this service belongs to the annual conference, or in that case, belongs to the city, and the city controls it, and you're on somebody else's, portal. So there's appropriate and inappropriate use of somebody else's computer. And I think if we think, and listening to you, I think it's very similar, just for us to remember that, as you said, this is not private, number one. And number two, it doesn't belong to us. And so we have to respect it as if we were using somebody else's automobile or somebody else's private whatever. So is that pretty accurate?
Yes, that's 100% accurate. Thank you, Bob, for that example. I've had questions about if these accounts could be available for churches, or if it's just for clergy or lay people as well. Right now, it is only meant for pastors, the active clergy, retired clergy, and lay pastors assigned to an appointment in the Desert Southwest Conference, or clergy that maybe have an appointment in another conference, but they are members of the Desert Southwest Conference. That's it. The reason for that, and I'm hoping to have it available for churches that want to use it as well, to increase the collaboration efforts and to make these tools available. But I'm thinking that that may be against our use policy, because churches are their own organization, with their own tax ID number, and Desert Southwest Conference is its own organization. Although clergy are not employees of the Desert Southwest Conference, they are appointed by the Desert Southwest Conference. It's almost like, no, right now, I guess your human resources happens at your church level, but there is a level of that happens through the district superintendents and the Episcopal office. So there is a relationship there where we can legally say that you are connected to the Desert Southwest Conference, you're members of the Desert Southwest Conference, and yet you're not staff of the Desert Southwest Conference. So that's an easy enough argument. It's tougher to figure out how that could work for churches. And my guess is that it probably won't work that way, but I am going to research that once we have this clergy part established. So I wouldn't start on this until after July to make it accessible for churches to research that part. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. Well, we are going to have 2 other sessions to go over this again, and Jason's going to be able to make it to one of them, but I'll also have this recording on YouTube. FYI, anyone that's here that I guess what I want to share is that every Tuesday we have meetings like this with church communicators. If your church is not participating in it, I strongly urge you to have them, encourage them to join. It's usually up to an hour, but it's been coming down to more like a half hour every Tuesday at the same time. And your church should be receiving, or your church communicator should be receiving, an invitation or a reminder weekly, and then a post-meeting wrap-up, that bullet points, everything we talked about, along with the recording link of the conversation, so they can see for themselves anything that I may have missed in the bullet points. And so if you're not already receiving that but want to get that invitation, send me an email to communications@bscumc.org and request to be added to the Tuesday Talks email reminders. All right, I guess with that, we're at 10:29, so fits right in our pattern of being done around 30 minutes. Jason, do you have anything else to share?
I do want to say that there are plenty of training resources online. You feel free to contact us, but and we'll be happy to help you with that. But if you search for Teams training or Office 365 training, Microsoft has a fantastic training portal. I'll go ahead and get the link over to Christina so she can get that delivered out to you guys. And they have videos on just about anything and everything you could want to do in Office 365.
Thank you. And I am compiling some FAQs and links to some trainings that I found, but I'll add whatever Jason sends me to the webpage, bscumc.org/clergy-email. And I will include those links in the email that I send out post Tuesday talk today. All right, thank you everybody for taking time out of your day to join us. And you're welcome to come back if you have more questions to attend any of the other meetings that we have scheduled. And the schedule and registration for those meetings is available at that same page, dscumc.org/clergy-email. If it's not email, then it's emails, plural.